Salone force. This message they come on from Hope for Youth Salone, Makeni chapter.
I'm forcing me country, fever like a paradise, paradise. I'm forcing me country, all my daily every day I be life. I want to go make this one I go come to reality. And when I go vote, the votes not be right, the votes not be like. I no go do the thing we go make a loss be like. I go vote, but I no go fence. I go vote, I go tell all the people them say. I go vote, but I no go fence. I go vote, I go tell all the body them say. You go vote, but you no go fence. You go vote, hope for the youth we the say. You go vote, but you no go fence. You go vote.
Black Blingers music.
Votes now your rights, don't ever forget.
Don't ever forget to.
Because Mama Salone, you know, now you hungry we get.
Now you hungry we get.
The votes not me right, the votes not me life. I no go do the thing we go make a loss me life. The votes not you right, the votes not you life. No go do the thing we they make you lost me life.
Election time, they come now for left, ala ala. Election time, they come now for left, cos. And now the time where you consider ending. Who that for votes? Where you dey go, me brother and sister? Make una no fets.
I go.
Family, una good evening. I hope saying is I hope so una dey the well. I hope so una they do well. I hope life has been treating you good. It's summer. I believe the sun is out. The sun is starting to really do its thing. But above all, the grass is greener. The trees are nice and green and fluffy. So there is sign of life all over. And so pray say, usai una self day, una they see signs of life, signs of flourishing, signs of advancement, signs of thriving. So well, as usual today H2O, okay, H2O, just plain H2O today, right? As usual, before we sit down inside the show proper, we get I believe we day right now 41 days, 23 hours and 53 minutes into the Sierra Leone general elections. 41 days, 23 hours and 54 minutes to the Sierra Leone national election. And as at a a couple of hours ago, as a matter of fact, a couple of hours ago, the ECSL just released the list. ECSL just released the list of elections, people them way they present themselves or way the PPRC say then don't qualify for the inside for make this 2023 election, so June 24 2023 election. So it's been gazetted, so how you may call it, the ECSL don't gazette provisional nomination for presidential candidates, then just don't finalize them, then finally release them. They were about 2 days late because then they're supposed to don't release them on the 10th. So they release them shortly before midnight, which means that they were about 2 days late, shortly before midnight in Salone. We still did at the 12, then at the 13, I think, or just about entering the 13. So yeah, so now at this point it's basically open game for people that we want question certain nominations or get objections. This now they need for go put them to the Supreme Court and say for this reason or that other reason we object this nomination, or we object to this person, this, that, and it wouldn't be the first time it has happened, because there was a time, I believe, in President, what's his name? Ahmed Tijan Kaba, the late President Ahmed Tijan Kaba, was it the 2002? Yeah, the 2002 election, somebody by the name of Daniel Sankor versus the sitting President Ahmed Tijan Kaba nomination. That was about 21 years ago, where he challenged the nomination of President Kaba in 2002, but the Supreme Court been throw away that case. They say the case not all water. So with everything that's been going on, with all the what should I call it, with all of the the underhandedness where don't they play, and where what have you continue for play, it's going to be interesting for us. Sorry, I seem distracted, but I'm not distracted. I just try for find the information for una. It's going to be interesting for see who that will come before and say, well, me I challenge this person in nomination, me I not agree for this person also for be the candidate, and waiting the Supreme Court will finally decide. It's going to be quite interesting, because remember, these nominations are provisional, mean for say then they're on probation right now. It get wait term, okay, get incubating period. So then they're on the incubating period. When that incubating, when that don't term they don't pass, and then come, I think it's and then come without challenge or whatever, then it's at that time excuse me, it is at that time that now all the candidates them go be solidified. I just want to make the producer just spotlight the names them will come up, or the parties them will come up right now as I talk within at the Gazette as of 2 hours ago na Salone. So the party then will come up. We see say we get Sierra Leone's People's Party, the SLPP. We get the All People's Party, the APC. We get People's Movement for Democratic Change, the PMDC. We get Revolutionary United Front Party, the RUFP. We get Republic National Independence Party, so RNIP. We get National Democratic Alliance, when at the NDA. We get Alliance Democratic Party, ADP. ADP still exists. Quite interesting. We get National Unity and Reconciliation Party, NURP. We get Citizen Democratic Party, CDP. We get Peace and Liberation Party, PLP. We get People's Democratic Party, PDP. We get United Democratic Movement, UDM. And then we get United National People's Party, UNPP. I talk about the opening of the democratic space, and I talk about say how the PPRC chair been talk now one meeting say how the way things they look right now as of instant, and I believe that must have been about maybe a month ago, that na 3 party no more na inge for them at the ballot box, na inge for them at the ballot paper. And it go on for say them party then they na the SLPP, the NGC, and the what you might call it, the APC. Now, yeah, so as Sidom, I talk for say, no, that cannot be. Because first of all, some of the restrictions, the way they put, I think say these restrictions can be challenged in court. And second of all, you get to look at the demography, the culture. There is so many things, the environment, the culture, the system, and everything else where they go into denting, so you get to open up the democratic space or allow people them, because if you close up the democratic space, how do you form divergence of opinion? How do you encourage divergence of opinion? How you they encourage criticism? How you they encourage competition? Democracy is the practice of an open market. Yeah, democracy is the practice of an open market. It means for say all man they can inside, then can for can sell waiting they get, and then the buyers them, the consumers then decide if your market good for them. If you market good for them, then go buy your market. If you market not also bad or not good for them, then go left your market, then go to the other person where they sell other market. Maybe on all two they sell the same market. But the difference is that the way where you arrange your market is different from the way where the other person arrange your market. So two things where how you call it, where catch me attention na so. Two things where I observe na so right from the get-go from this list, and I just want confirm am with me producer for make sure I not think say I see Femi Claudius Cole. I not think say I see Femi Claudius Cole in party na this list. I don't think say I see him. I not think say I see Femi Claudius Cole, Madam Femi Claudius Cole in party. And I think that party is Unity Party. The Unity Party. Madam Femi Claudius Cole. So I not see in party na this list. And we know for say yeah, Unity Party. I not see the Unity Party na this list at all. And we know for say the PPRC they don't come up with a lot of what I would call trumped up allegations and trumped up insinuation about Madam Femi Claudius Cole in party being in good standing order. Me no go see how somebody don't work for the past 5 years tirelessly, doing everything else, and then it go allow in party where he hope for run as flag bearer for they in default of anything. I think what has happened to Madam Femi Claudius Cole, I think it is deliberate. I think it is well planned, orchestrated, and calculated. I think when they were at the PPRC and ECSL, electoral dialogue meeting, I think when Napoleon stood up and said, and when she raised the hand up and she was given audience and she asked the question, I think when Napoleon stood up and said, waiting this one so they do na so, why it na so, I think that was a clear signal for say there is something brewing in the background. And whatever was brewing in the background will make Napoleon said that at the time has definitely manifested in daylight. But here is what I say. Here, this now waiting me go say. Do not challenge a woman. And this right now, waiting they say so. If they go to the SLPP party, if they go to ECSL, if they go to the PPRC, these are all men that heads this institution, yeah? And if they go also to Napoleon as well, where sit down inside political party meeting And when the woman grab for speaking mind because she is a presidential aspirant, you grab and say in front of witnesses, waiting in the dunaya, waiting still the dunaya, so was your comment. So then they tell we clearly say there was something going in the background. But waiting me go say is Napoleon, do not underestimate the resolve of a woman. To all these people who've planned, who don't scheme, who don't concoct, who don't machinate, who don't gather together, who don't hibo susu, who don't come together. This woman, it don't be so active. She's been outspoken, very active, very much in solidarity with women. Whenever there is a women issue, that's her issue, she is there. She has given so much to the community. She has given so much of her time to the nation, the community in general, different community groups them, that I don't see what threat you see in her. I not see waiting the shake una param. We make una for bring and come down to this level. But there is one thing I can tell you. In your head, you might think she's out. You don't do away with her. You don't done away with her. But you have not seen the strength of a woman. Like a phoenix from the ashes, she's going to rise. I believe that strongly. Like a phoenix from the ashes, she is going to rise. And she, like what I can say, una be careful making no pepe una. That's all I'm going to say about this. Una be careful making no pepe una. So that's one observation. My other observation about this list here so go be the fact that I not see the, make I verify them again, but for my recollection, I not see the NGC. Is the NGC there? The NGC is not there, which rightly so it should not be there. Because remember, again about some few weeks ago, and even na my last show, Saturday, I talk say, because there has been an early formation of alliance between the SLPP and the NGC, and the sole aim for this alliance is the re-election of the current presidency. The man not they vie for office anymore, and because he not they vie for office anymore, he gets other plans them. He gets other plans them, and as we go further, we will unveil, and we, as the election got closer, where we they do electoral analysis, we go to look inside this some more. But for right now, he's not running as a parliamentarian, running as a parliamentarian, which I think is a very wise decision. And his name or the NGC as a party has been removed from the ballot, official ballot, gazetting. So the official names them listing, which I think was the right thing to do, because Nayaso Asidoma talk say, why is the NGC, why are we even still talking about the NGC being a running party for this election when they've already formed an alliance with another political party? That political party, they wait and form the alliance with Naim for be the face. Naim for represent both of them, because they both agreed that the aim of forming this alliance is to secure a victory for this political party. So depending now, it is left to both the SLPP and the NGC how they decide for sell the market. So now then two observations and they I get from this list, and I've been don't tell on excuse me, waiting the gazetting of this list mean and waiting will happen afterwards and all of this. So we are moving forward. The momentum, as I see it, I not go like you now. I not see a lot of momentum. The 2018 election, by now the place be warm. By now, the place be hot. By now, you felt the election spirit. By now, you feel that there was an oncoming election. It was everywhere. It was like, it was pulsating, you know. I mean, they go boom, 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 boom. Like you can sense something. You can sense a movement. But that's not what I am. Not that not what I had a sense right now. Really waiting at the sense deep sense of reflections from people then. I sense people then where they get internal arguments within themselves. I sense I still sense the partisanship, don't get me wrong, I still sense the vuvuzeling, but amped up, not so loud, not so in your face. Now, one reason for that could be because we still get, now whose day today, the 12th. So we get about another 12 days. Yeah, we get about another 12 days or 10 days, actually counted properly, another 10 days to go before official campaigning season begin according to the PPRC, because when I know say the PPRC be don't send and go down to 1 month instead of the 3 months where normally the constitution allow for. But PPRC say na 1 month. So I sure say as over the next coming days, I sure say the drum is going to get louder and louder and louder and louder. And by the time where we reach to the 22nd of May, I think there's going to be a combustion everywhere. That's what I think. I don't know why I have that feeling, but that's what I think. And then I think. So it's going to get interesting, it's going to get loud, it's going to get, So for that reason and that reason alone, Una Bokudo asks, Unu say make I do 2 show. I cannot give you 2 show, guys. I cannot, just because I have a very busy life and very busy schedule. But here is what I can do, which I think Una go appreciate, because me Saturday, I know they play with them. I play with me Saturday. I know they play with me Saturday at all. Saturday is for my home, is for myself, and is for what I want to do. But for the love of nation, for the love of, I don't they talk now for over 5 years. I don't they say some things them, and sometimes when you say certain things, you have to follow it through. I have heard you all, I have listened to you. So here is waiting we get for do. Starting, make I watch my calendar fine, so make I not be gone. Make them look and say Matilda, you said. I know now. Quick for say Matilda, you said. So starting the 27th of May, starting the 27th of May, we dey switch the show to Saturday. We will switch the show to Saturday afternoon, starting the 27th of May, till the election done. So what's going to happen? Starting the 27th of May, if it takes me to give on 3 hours of me term, I give on 3 hours of me term, undiluted, just for the election, till the election done, till the election results come on and do. So normally my show is about 2 hours, under 2 hours. But guess what? Because on all done, Matilda, do 2 shows. I cannot do 2 shows a week. I cannot do a show on a Friday and do a show on a Saturday. So I therefore switch the things then why they do Saturday to Friday, so that I go able to make time for can sit down with Una on a Saturday afternoon, which is a very vital, space in my life. And then we'll do the show. I hope you are satisfied with that compromise, because when I compromise, I hope you are satisfied with that compromise they want to reach. So they will do the show on Saturday afternoon, and hopefully that would give people like the likes of Mr. Tarawali, people like the likes of Mr. Kagbo for making them join me and make we rub mudpan some certain key indicators, them key things, them key policy issues, them and what have you. So we don't done dandy. Now make we move on. I want to give a shout out to before we sit down inside the show proper. Well, we don't sit down inside the show proper because make I not say before we sit down inside, we don't sit down inside the show. As we begin, we roll. There is no stopping. So I want to say, if you are in Toronto, or close to Toronto, the KDU, the Creole Descendants Union Southern Ontario. Creole Descendants Union Southern Ontario, I go ask my producer for make it put up that flyer there for we. The Creole Descendants Union Southern Ontario, then they get them dinner and dance. You don't say where they shake body. You know, say Salone and leg enjoyment. So it is like you don't say where we shake body, you don't say where we rub skin, you don't say where we jam together, I don't say where you do light me, I light you. So this coming weekend, so next weekend, the May long weekend in Canada, I'm not sure about the US, the Creole Descendants Union Southern Ontario, then they get their dinner and dance, followed by a Thanksgiving service. I don't know if my producer gets that flyer there. Followed by a Thanksgiving service on Sunday. But what is more important now, the fundraising dinner and dance, right? The fundraising dinner and dance, the tickets them now $100. The tickets them are $100. Una can contact the Creole Descendants Union for tickets, or una can go back, then they sell tickets them back na events bright. We can go back na events bright for buy the tickets. They no they Toronto or they at the environment. And guess what? Yes, the Creole TT self get for day because they need for go rack palace small no more. Me on a Georgia they do am. I no sabi dance, I no sabi broke, I no sabi all the we na then cheer dancer then shake we head, shake we neck, shake we shoulder, and then the normal we sabi do. So the creativity get for go shaking head and shaking neck small, and then the normal take and JJ. So yeah, so if you're there, please come along. Okay, so now make we and also shout out to my niece Lisel Fina. Well, I shouldn't act because she's married now, so I should say Mrs. Lisel Fina Bull Smith, who bagged her doctorate in education today. Shout out to my nephew as well, Abbas Ayamel, who graduated today as well from his undergrad, and everyone else who graduated from whatever discipline. Congratulations to you all, and congratulations to the parents. Go forth and make the world a better place. Yeah. Now, something happened. Dr. Samura Kamara been in London. He been in London last week. As a matter of fact, I think say na inside this week self he come back. So Dr. Samura Kamara, he been go do a tour na London, but something that looked like a tour. Not to have been the initial purpose of in visit. The initial purpose of in visit na send them in send column for make EM President Biogo can sit down, engage and talk about this election and agree on something them. But as it turned out, as we can hear from the BBC interview where he do, by the way, there are two BBC interviews. We go just touch on one today, and by God in power, we go touch on the other one at a later date. So today we go touch on the audio interview, and at a later time we go look at the video, the interview. Okay, so in general, wetin happen? So Dr. Samura Kamara reach London. Where he reach London, the impression when me get, anyway, the impression when me get from the 2-3 thing then when me don't watch, when me don't analyze, seems like a man who has grown into himself, seems like a man who has grown into his own, seems like a man who is very confident and very comfortable in himself, who is very easy with the crowd, right? Easy with the crowd. Not to everybody in a charmer, not to everybody gets the charming personality and, you know, Mr. Smoky personality, but he has cultivated a personality of his own. He don't cultivate a personality of his own, and I think say as calm as that personality is, it transcends people, and they see through, and people them appreciate. I am made for understand say he visits quite a few communities, them Sierra Leonean communities, them and establishments them inside London Day as much as he could. He was not able to visit every establishment, but as much as he could, apparently even late into the evening, as late as 9 o'clock at night, excuse me, he been still they pay visits na some place them, been still they go na some place them, he been still they go tell Adu, he been still they go talk to the people them, find out waiting at the constraints, find out waiting at the expectation, instead they talk to them waiting, you know, waiting at in goal, waiting at in ambition. And then when I see the very big town hall, and I'm going to be honest here as well, when I know for say me, I know they talk something one or sabi. I looked at the time of the town hall, I look saying I'll be over 5 hours in length. Matilda Cole doesn't have that time. No. But what I know for fact is I can shrink down to where his message, listen to his message, and then listen to what he's saying. He spoke like a man with experience. He spoke like a man who has lived experience. He spoke like a man who is in touch with reality. He talked like a person where they in touch with reality. He talked like a person we don't fail before and we don't learn. Like where I can say, you try something before, you not succeed, but you they learn the lessons, then you they pull good thing them from that failure, and then you they apply into something else. That's how it came across to me. He not talk like somebody we not they in touch with the issues. He not talk like somebody we not they in touch with reality. Nothing shocked him, nothing surprised him. He really talk like, when I can say, and politics aside, yeah, he talk like when you they talk to you papa, and you papa know he understand he been done did it before. It might not have been in the same era and the same place and time, but he gets the fundamental understanding and he know how to go about resolving things. That's the feeling I got from his speech. I'm not going to go into the tribe this, tribe that. For him, he wants to unify the country. Sierra Leone are one place. Sierra Leone, in fact, we are all sojourners from that land. We are all sojourners, if we go dig inside the Salone. Sometimes me mommy in tribe na the normal na the original Sierra Leoneans them, the original ancestors them of the land, the original indigenes them of the land. Apart from that, we all na come, we all na take them, take we, So to speak, we are all Sierra Leoneans, and we all get for work together, for make Salone better, for bring Salone, for make Salone. They call Athens of Africa. Una left that Athens of Africa dream day. Let us work for what is currently present now. Let us take it. Let us look at where the world is. And what we should aspire is for get into that, technological age. Make we self belong. Make we self be part of. Make we self be innovators. Make we self be developers. Make we self be exporters. Those are the things we should be thinking about. Make we, graduate speaking them from school. we can articulate properly, we can debate intellectually. You know, recently, I think it was the School of Medicine in Ghana did their graduating class recently. Now Ghana, guess who that collect all the prize them? The Ghana School of Medicine, Science, and now guess who that collect the person will collect all the top prize them? Now the university. Now as in the graduate in residency and graduate all thing of medical school, now a Sierra Leonean. Now a Sierra Leonean, it wasn't a Ghanaian, it wasn't from any other nation. Pure-blooded Mama Papa Sierra Leonean man. So all of that talent. Now you see, now he will be absorbed into the Ghanaian system or into another system, because waiting in the cancer na Salone, where inside Ghana, yes, they might not, the doctors might not be getting, you know, 10,000 whatever $1,000 for pay, but what they get is sufficient enough, and they can also practice at private clinic, and the government ensures that they pay for their how they call them, their not upkeep, their how they call it, professional development. The government, they send them on courses, they send them on you know, professional development and all that thing and they. So that is talent, that is brain power that could have really been utilized in our country, that is desperately needed in our country. But guess what? Now another country, now I don't breed them, now I don't develop them, and now they can enjoy the benefit of that work. So these are some of the things we talk about. These are some of the things we need to look at, and that is why we need to look past tribe. That is why we need to look past ethnicity. We need to look past political allegiance and get the best person that suits the job. Somebody who can look at policy, how they call it, shred the policy together, pick what works for the nation, what is needed now, what does the people need, what will give people their day-to-day and their basic subsistence living, and allow them to thrive. I will ask the producer make a begin play the interview. It's about a 7-minute interview, so we go try for do about a minute each, and then we analyze a little and we move further. We do a small, we analyze a little, we move further. So we go begin.
It's 1906 GMT. This is Hassan Aruni with Focus on Africa from the BBC World Service. We start with the elections coming up in Sierra Leone next month, June the 24th. President Julius Maada Bio is determined to win a second 5-year term. The man he defeated in 2018, Dr. Samura Kamara, is in the race again. But Dr. Kamara has a court case in which he has been accused of corruption. He says this is a ploy to frustrate his presidential ambition. Well, it so happens that the two men have been in London these past few days. Dr. Samura Kamara came to our studios and Esau Williams asked why he was in London.
Originally, I'm supposed to be here on a Marlborough House dialogue between myself and His Excellency the President of Sierra Leone. And then after that, be a courtesy call on the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Secretariat, and then see Sierra Leonean diasporans in the UK.
So why are you meeting the President here? Why couldn't you meet him in Freetown?
It's an initiative that was developed by the Commonwealth Secretariat, where leaders of the opposition sometimes are given an opportunity to just have a dialogue involving developments with the head of state.
So you're running again for re-election, having been unsuccessful in 2018. What has changed now?
Nothing has changed except that I'll run again as you write.
Mr. Producer, hold on there. For the one them where you know, I know for say most of my audience them then they talk English, so obviously they can understand. But for the one that this is election season, for the one that we don't understand, I will try for broke and don't want to create phone. So the person who been the interview excuse me, Dr. Samura Kamara ask and say, he say you and the president dey London right now at the same time. He say wetin bring you come, wetin bring unu come. Obviously, let me state that for the president, it is quite possible, hey God, creature of habit. No, sorry, English are the talk all day. It possible say for the president, because the King of England, them in they put on a bench that day, that weekend day, the May 6th, them in they put on a bench, like when they can say then the crown chief or paramount chief. So the King of England, them in they put on a bench that day. And because them in they put on a bench that day, and Salone also they part of the Commonwealth, it's possible say now one of the reasons that they make the president being there. But we get for fan out say the other reason we make the president been supposed for them in England that 10 day now because Marlborough House where now also like for say them big alejo them where they gather together, put people them together for make them all one word, for make them sit down inside, for make them look at how the country they go, and especially during election time, then can call like where Salone so it don't tense. So they can call the two like opposition or the two party them or the 2 or 3 main prominent party them together, put them together, make them sit down, like for say, make them all bargain, not to that kind bargain, say for one word, but one word for the people and say, then why are we people the way they try for rule, then why are the people the way they try for you know, make we bring we kind of power. So therefore we for agree say, we for make sure say peace for day, one word for day, we go talk to we supporters them, bad thing they not go happen and this that. So now then they say Marlborough House. So the place they call a Marlborough House, the institution. And say Marlborough House been called or to in President Bio and in Samura Kamara for make them can sit down talk. And then the person ask her, when they ask the question, say ask and say, wetin make una need for England for can sit down talk? Why make una not go talk usa unu dey? So Dr. Samura Kamara now say no. He say this thing and a thing wey can happen. He say a thing wey they can organize, especially the Commonwealth, the head of the Commonwealth, self be one for sit down and talk to them. But wetin end up for happen is that Dr. Samura Kamara show up. Although President Bio bin Dede, remember the reason we make them call them and for make them all two can sit down inside one house so then go talk like brother. And you remember President Bio say in the extend hand to the opposition, in the extend hand to all man, in don't open all side. He wants one word. He want make all man dey together. He want make all man live together. So going on with President Beyond in word, let me say, if them people here now don't call you, because remember when President Beyond been there in opposition, and then same people here I been they write, the international community people here I been they write, they talk, they this, they that. He write, he even write personal letter all to President Aneskoroma. Those are there, documented. Matilda is not saying anything that is outside of the ordinary. He writes personal letter to President Koroma, how President Koroma don't destroy the country, how we done this, how we done that, how we done that. He writes to the Commonwealth, he writes to the this. The same thing where the Commonwealth they try for do show right now with and Samura Kamara. That same thing they do with and President Aneskoroma. But what's funny right now is that here is a president saying that he wants peace, he wants unity, he wants harmony. Waiting I dey try for understand is if them people they also call you. Remember when them people they also they give you money. Now them people they also they engage for putting at the kotoku for make even this election self we go get them. Now then people they also they put their own money for send election observers then. Right? President Bio not agree for attend this meeting. He not accept for attending it. Even though he been sit down right inside England, right inside the king in Igbale. Not to other side of the world. 2 days, he not agree for attend this meeting. So you go ask the question, say, this man where is sit on a stage, they say all them things so. Now is a time for show the people then genuinely that what you say you meant. Waiting you say you mean am. You say you go sit down, you go dialogue, you go talk. Why make now then give you opportunity? Then agbagba there. So then people there where you believe, then people there where even they go cry to. Why make them call you now? Because you there now na power. You forget that they are the hands that feed you. Them people they are so. Their hand they inside your mouth. Or you hand, no, you hand they inside the mouth. At any time, they can decide for clamp the mouth on you. Why would waiting make you go do something like that? I don't understand. Like if anybody know, the phone lines are open. If anybody know the reason why President Bio decide for go England and he refused for go na Marlborough House, he refused for get the Commonwealth from na Marlborough House for get the dialogue with the opposition running mate. Please tell us, because this one so it confused me completely. Make we continue the interview.
At least stated.
So if nothing has changed, the results will be the same then?
No, nothing has changed. My desire for the presidency has not changed. And that's why I'm running again. And thankfully, my party has elected me their presidential candidate for the 2023 elections.
Let me ask you, a bit of a rude question, really.
So, so the man ask and say, you dey face corruption charges, this, that. He said them put, and then now you dey run for the second term again, but you lost the first term. So why make you go one for one again? Now he say yes. He said na true say I been lost the first term. He say but he say that thing inside me where they magiji me for make I feel say I want for run for this presidency in not diet. He say it's still there inside me for help me people them. It's still there inside me for become the president and for work for me people them. He say and plus he say me party where I dey inside believe say I get them inside me for work for the people them and for run for the presidency. Now that make them all one word. Excuse me, people, I have a bit of a cold. They all one word and decide say, they don't give me the tick, then don't give me the rope, then don't give me the basket for make a olam and for make a run for this race here. So let's continue.
Elected me their presidential candidate for the 2023 elections.
Let me ask you, a bit of a rude question, really, about opposition politicians more generally in Africa. Why is it that when you lose an election, you still stay on as opposition leader, having failed to deliver victory for your party?
Well, it's a judgment to be made by the party. If the party has,
you can say no.
If the party has confidence in you,
you can say
that
no.
You will deliver the goods, yes, you have a choice to say yes or no. But the party has to have confidence in you. That
make me tap on it. So the interviewer ask and say, why make na Africa? You know, say Salone he generalize. I say why make na Africa? I say why make we leader them the lost election? Why make them they continue for one again? He say why make them not go just pull on pan the business and go sit down suffer. Now Dr. Samura answer and say, he say yes. He say, but if the people them get confidence in you and believe say you able win and you can run, he say there is no reason for make they not nominate him and for make you not accept. Nine the interviewer, it was a bit kind of tough, but I like that. He said because if me the interview, some of me question and go pepper pass than they say. So in general, let me say it was lenient. So he said, but you can say no, you no need for say yes. He said if they nominate you, he said you no need for say yes at 1-for-1. He said you can choose for say no. Now Samura respond to them back, say Dr. Samura respond to them back, say, yes, I can choose for say yes, or I can choose for say no. In this particular case, I choose for say yes because I get the confidence, say, I get the competency, I get the sabi, and I get the how they call them, the understanding for run this country, and that make agree for waiting them put me inside. Make we continue.
A bit of a rude question, really, about opposition politicians more generally in Africa. Why is it that when you lose an election, you still stay on as opposition leader, having failed to deliver victory for your party?
Well, it's a judgment to be made by the party. If the party has,
you can say no.
If the party has confidence in you,
you can say
that
no.
You will deliver the goods, yes, you have a choice to say yes or no. But the party has to have confidence in you. That certainly, yes, you might have failed on one instance. It's possible, very likely, that you will succeed in the next. Almost invariably, Marabi tried twice before he won.
But people also say, Mr. Kamara, that as you are in opposition, so you become in government. That if you cling on to office in opposition, little wonder that when you get into power, you don't relinquish it easily.
Okay, make we hold on this. So the interviewer he say, why make opposition people them when they lost election, they know they go. I don't explain that to now. They go forward more for say. He say he don't notice say. He say he don't notice say where people them hold power. The way they hold power in opposition, now the same way they go turn out for hold power where they give them the power. He say, and he say I'm in English, as you are in opposition, so you will turn out to be in governance. Now, Dr. Samura Kamara answer and say about the fact that running several times in opposition, first of all, it's the people's choice and also it's the party's choice. If the people and the party no one time, they're not going to go vote for them. Then he says, secondly, he said even the current president where they so right now, President Bill, he said he run several times before he finally clinched the election victory. He say, and then he continue for answer and say, he say, I not say for any other person, no. He say, but me on Dr. Samura Kamara. He say, me on trajectory, me on rule go be different. Meaning that clinging on to power, meaning an opposition, you know, the way you act in opposition, acting in it in power and hanging on to power. So he said, no, me not to that kind of person there. He said, and you go see, he said, me not a different cattle of fish. I think he meant to say he is a different fish amongst the cattle, but I don't know. This English, yes or not English. I think what he meant to say is that I am going to be the outlier. I am not going to be what you presume. I know they can't take permanent residency. Like what we have seen what we have experienced and what we know of our African leaders. He say, me no dey so for can take permanent residency. Akaya so and una go see say Akaya so for can work for the people, for do the work of the people, for transforming nation, and then for go sit down serve. But make we continue for listen.
Push it easily.
I'll be a different kettle of fish. I, Samura Kamara. And that's why my campaign and my urge to be president of the Republic of Sierra Leone is to look back over 40 years of my public service in Sierra Leone, holding high positions in the government, 3 governments. I grew up in the central bank as an economist, up to deputy director of research. And then I went to the Commonwealth Secretariat here and worked for them. I was called to Freetown as a financial secretary, and then sort of move out of the World Bank and the IMF program.
Sure, but you're also facing allegations of corruption, serious allegations of misappropriation of funds.
I think this politically motivated. I leave it to the judge, to the court.
Okay. So those allegations are not.
Make we tap and day. So the interview I'm asking question is say, well, how you plan for go about this business here? So now he say listen, he say for me I don't reflect over 40 years of me work experience, 40 years where a cumulative of also the 10 way he work in a salon. He say I begin me work na the central bank, I move to the Commonwealth, I go to the World Bank or whatever. He say I don't work na boku places there. And all the experience then they including Salone. I don't hold high positions them na Salone. He say all the experience then they within this 40 years, why I don't get that. He say I don't look at the all, I don't look inside the all and know wetin I go able bring to the table, wetin I go able put na ground. He say I understand wetin I go able put na ground. And you see, this is where he say and he talks something about Mr. Producer, can you just go back a little bit, because that particular part I think it was a missed opportunity, and I want for the analysis I do, and I want for be right on my analysis. If you can go back just a little bit on that interview, let me just get that word right, sir.
That they've decided to elect me as their choice.
Now there is the contentious issue of political parades during campaign time. Do you think those parades should be? What has changed now?
Nothing has changed except that I have confidence in you.
Well, you can say
that
no.
You will deliver the goods. Yes, you have a choice to say yes or no. But the party has to have confidence in you. That certainly, yes, you might have failed on one instance. It's possible, very likely, that you will succeed in the next. Almost invariably, Madhabi tried twice before he won.
But people also say, Mr. Kamara, that as you are in opposition, so you become in government. That if you cling on to office in opposition, little wonder that when you get into power, you don't relinquish it easily.
I'll be a different kettle of fish. I, Samura Kamara. And that's why my campaign and my urge to be president of the Republic of Sierra Leone is to look back over 40 years of my public service in Sierra Leone, holding high positions in the government.
Okay, that's the word. That's the word. So, that's the word. My campaign and my urge to be president of Sierra Leone, looking back over 40 years of service. I think in there, because the analysis that they do, and also when you do analysis, you also get for profile recommendations when you see a missed opportunity. For me, that was a missed opportunity for Dr. Samura Kamara for say something additional. He don't talk but in work, he don't talk but in desire, he don't talk but say in campaign and in urge for be president of the nation. I think if I were in and I am part of his publicist team, talk less about your urge. Once you've stated it once or twice, move on from there and focus on solely the issue and the people. The issue and the people. That's it. For me, where he been don't talk about in 40-year experience, he don't talk about reflecting on in 40-year experience, he don't talk about how that 40-year experience and everything where he don't gather along the way, don't position him right now at this very moment for take on the reins of power. And he talked about his desire, he talked about his campaign. That sentence right there for me should have ended with the people. Not about your urge to become president, but your desire and your wish to transform the lives of the people, your desire and your wish to serve the people in the way they ought to be served. Now that little thing they normal get for that side, they make we continue.
I grew up in the central bank as an economist, up to deputy director of research. And then I went to the Commonwealth Secretariat here and worked for them. I was called to Freetown as a financial secretary, and then sort of move out of the World Bank and the IMF program.
Sure, but you're also facing allegations of corruption, serious allegations of misappropriation.
So Dr. Samura Kamara talk about the experience na the World Bank, na the IMF, na the Commonwealth, and also na Salone. Make we not forget say, because people are so quick to say, oh, but you don't work for 40 years na Salone. No, he no work for 40 years na Salone. It is important to read about people. It's very important for make we read about people. It's very important for make we read about people in career, decide the way they don't work. Dr. Samura not always work na Salone. And I wish, me not been there, but I wish that Chatham House, I think it was a lecture and a dialogue type style. I really wish that lecture and dialogue can be publicized nationwide. Because I believe, say, from that lecture and dialogue day, that is when you see the depth of the man. I'm not here campaigning for one presidency or one candidate against the other, but I'm talking about somebody with depth. I talk about somebody where the water full up the bucket. And they talk about the deep career they talk right now. And I'm not trying to insult anyone here. And they talk about somebody where the water full up the bucket. Okay? The man, that lecture, that's when you see the depth of his career, the depth of his skill, the depth of his knowledge. Honestly. Dr. Samura no always work na Salone. And every time when he can work na Salone, even though he starts in work, yes, na the central bank, but remember say go outside, he get other opportunities then. But every single time he's been called back to Sierra Leone, remember not only they voluntarily can Salone, na call them, they call and come. Every single time he has been called for come back na Salone, it's to really rescue the Sierra Leone economy. It's to really put policies in place that works for Salone. We talk about Tijan Kaba, the late President Tijan Kaba. We talk about his financial policies. We talk about the stabilities. But guess who was the brainchild behind all of that? Guess who that the late President Tijan Kaba believe and call back from posting and say, oh yeah, come on, come. Because if you not come, this thing goes scatter. It was this man. It was this man. Yes, he served under UNESCO, and I'm not calling him a perfect servant. Please, do not get me wrong. I know they call him a perfect servant because no one is perfect. And if you don't they listen over these 5 years always my advice to the current presidency is do not act. Una not behave like for say unu perfect. Unu not behave like for say unu sabi all thing. Some there for everything you sabi, somebody they will sabi and pass you. Somebody they know how to do and better pass you. And he himself has admitted to his failures. There are things that he could have done better. There are things that he missed the mark on. And that is what you call growth. The ability to recognize when you are wrong or when you have failed, but to dust yourself up again, pick yourself back up again, and correct those mistakes. So, for people that will constantly they label Dr. Samura Kamara'S, oh, you don't work in a salon for 40 years. No, you don't work in a salon for 40 years. He work in a salon, but you don't work. And for every time you work in a salon, go look under which government he work. Go look under which he worked. That man has worked in the SLPP regime far more than he had ever worked in the APC regime. Tried and proven. And look at the policies then where he work at. Look at how them policies then they be enacted. Look at waiting them policies then they do for Sierra Leone during the time where they put them policies then they where they implement them policies then they. I think it is always good to judge a man by the production of his service, by the depth, the worth of his service. Remember, he wasn't the decision maker. So therefore, nothing where he do, una go see him out there, him claiming glory for, because guess what? Not to him in then at the helm of power. The buck did not stop at him. The buck either stopped at President Tijan Kaba or the buck stopped at President Anesbai Koroma. But the buck never stopped at the man, Dr. Samura Kamara'S. And now he is saying, I will be the outlier. Give me the chance for the buck to ultimately stop at me and see what I can do. That's all he's saying. Make we continue.
Appropriation of funds.
I think this politically motivated. I leave it to the judge, to the court.
So those allegations are not true?
No, I think they're politically motivated. I think my career speaks for itself. I've been served 40 years. I've never had any charge.
But there's a trial ongoing.
Corruption. Yes, it's ongoing. It's ongoing.
So what do you say to the people of Sierra Leone?
So
Do you think that perhaps...
This is very important. Make we wait. Because you know a man by his past, you would know the substance of a man by the trace system where he live. Okay? Now this man say, the interviewer say, but you get corruption charge levied against you. He said a politically motivated thing. He say that now for them just they do a no more for pretty much soiling image this that, and he go on to say something very important. And for me, as somebody where they work, we don't work in various institutions them. When I me work now, I believe in forget me to the next level. I believe in waiting I put down, the way I do me work, the professional, the way I conduct me work, the results the way I bring forward. Now I depend on for get me to the next level. This statement where he make was very important to me is that I don't work in several institutions them, as well as international institutions them, not to Salone no more I don't work. He said one day, nobody not take pen, red pen, cross and pa me work. One day, nobody not take red pen, X me work. One day, nobody not engage na me throat, because I don't always do me work judiciously. I don't always do me work fine one. So, if you go look, no sign no day where I don't work ever, where them go tell you, say, then sack this man so for this, or them been sack this money so. That is something as professionals, regardless of who that you they support, regardless of who say you team up, that is something that is worth thinking about. Even as they go through these allegation charges, whether it be allegation where they say you are innocent until proven guilty, whether it be true or false, remember that up until this point, in all of his 40 years of service, this man, they not one day find am wanting. And Adande is he say, when I go look, me record clean, me book clean. So, make we continue.
Compare that to when you leave, because that is one good way of helping stop and stamp out corruption.
Let me at the outset say that, yes, I will subject myself.
And your ministers.
To that, and my ministers, to trajectory, where you have a quasi, if I can describe it that way, a quasi-military type of regime, a civilian coach in a military leader. Yes, it's ongoing.
So what do you say to the people of Sierra Leone? Do you think that perhaps maybe you should step aside until you get your name cleared, for example?
No, the law says you are innocent until proven guilty. And I think the people of Sierra Leone have confidence in me. They know that I did not do anything.
Make we tapaya. He say him believe, he no say, where the interviewer say, he say maybe sometimes you forgo team up na corner force, wait na corner force until you case done, then prove say guilty, then now I say no. He say I no go step aside. He say the law say you are innocent until proven guilty. He say plus, he say him believe say the people of Salone no say he no do nothing, he innocent. So people of Salone, this is a question to you all. Do you believe that Dr. Samura Kamara is innocent of the charges being levied against him? And also when we've been do the poll about the Chancery, I know we've been waiting at the results. Now, I they also ask for one way they watch. Do you think that Dr. Samura is guilty or not guilty of the charges being levied against him? Because that's what he's saying. He said he knows that the people of Sierra Leone knows that he is not guilty. And then when they talk about corruption, he talk about a system. He say he believes say this na a system where na a military rule in the guise of civilian rule. That there are a meshing of two rules going on. The military meets civilian, that it's an actual military rule but under civilian clothing. That's how he put it. That's how he put it. But when they talk about the anti-corruption declaration of assets, because you remember this now one of the things where President Bio been campaign with. He saying go declare assets, he go publicly declare assets. All man go see what he can with. And like when the 5 year done so, all man for don't see waiting they go with. Whether he's re-elected, that is a separate conversation. But we for don't see. Now that they been campaign with, but we suicide and they not happen. I think me believe as an interviewer, the interviewer, what's his name? Issa Williams, before don't be more specific now. Because it's not that we do not have declaration of assets of we president and serving ministers them, ADMs them. We do have declaration of assets. Excuse me. But what we want, waiting we they look for now open declaration of assets. Open declare all the ministers they are so, all the heads of department and ministry, they're all subject themselves to declaration of assets now this government. But waiting we don't know is that we don't know waiting and kind side with, and we don't know waiting and the left with. The only person we know na Ben Ken Fala. And that's not how it should be. Not also it for be. The nation, the people then get the right for no. Like how Buhari in Nigeria, where been kind sign. And I sure say in few days time he get for do the same. Where been kind sign. He declare asset. He call almost farm he gets. Like right now, me as a Sierra Leonean, at the team up, I tell you almost farm them Buhari been get where he kind sign, almost goat, almost sheep, almost cow, almost horse them, almost no money he been get usai, almost motoka them. Where he been get where he kind sign. So where they go so right now back, we go get for see almost he they go with. But sadly enough, even though now one panenti so President Biomi in campaign with, and I believe say now one of the reasons and they make people and voter inside, when he came, he failed to deliver on that one. Everything is being done in secret. What will be interesting is that one thing will be really interesting is that the most prolific and efficient journalists that I know, the most prolific and efficient investigative journalists in Sierra Leone that I know, and right now I'm talking of Sharon Oba of the African Express. What if somehow Sharon Oba manages to maneuver something, lay his hands on the before and lay his hands on the after and makes it public to the nation? Lay hand then at the true before, lay hand then at the true after, and make them public to the nation. The question when we go get for Ask Mayaso is that every serving individual of this government, would the nation be proud of you? Would any individual in this nation be proud of you? Because remember, for the first time since the beginning of the Auditor General office, now the first time this, where we see say key offices them within the presidency were not audited. And these are 3 key offices them where they smoke money, where they drink money. The office of the president not be audited. The office of the vice president, they not audit them. The office of the first lady, we not to. An elected office is attached to the office of the president. She's attached to the office of the, it is attached to the president. They not audit them. 3 key offices then. We don't know what happen at their offices then they. We don't know what at them spending at their offices then they. And people then sit down, then they clap. Say yes, it is right. Is it truly right? Is it truly right that the office of the president, the office of the vice president, the office, excuse me, of the first lady don't get audited? If any other political party can have power and they decide to do the same, would you cry foul? Because remember, once a precedent is set, sometimes it is very hard to overturn. Because it is very easy for a lawyer to go and say, in so and so year, so and so and so, this versus so and so, or that versus so and so, or in this, now this happened. Very easy. So then 3 key institutions there. Now you are gloating, you are happy, you're very excited that they are not audited because they are within your umbrellas, the umbrella that you cover under. What if the umbrella where you know they cover under, not to in there again, a different umbrella, 9 day, and then say, well, you know, go look inside with Kotoku. Unugala thief, unugala ole, unugala boki. Unu go holla that? And with whose face unu go use for Allah aboki and thief? With whose face? So when we do these things, it is not always, yes, for the right now, it suits your purposes. But for the Bambai, for the tomorrow, will it serve? Will it serve you? For the Bambai and for the tomorrow. Make we continue.
World Bank, the IMF program.
Sure, but you're also facing allegations of corruption, serious allegations of misappropriation of funds.
I think this politically motivated. I leave it to the judge, to the court.
So those allegations are not true?
No, I think they're politically motivated. I think my career speaks for itself. I've been served 40 years. I've never had any charge.
But there's a trial ongoing.
Corruption. Yes, it's ongoing. It's ongoing.
So what do you say to the people of Sierra Leone? Do you think that perhaps maybe you should step aside until you get your name cleared, for example?
No. The law says you are innocent until proven guilty. And I think the people of Sierra Leone have confidence in me. They know that I did not do anything wrong. And it's because of that confidence that they've decided to elect me as their choice.
Now, there is the contentious issue of political parades during campaign time. Do you think those parades should be allowed or banned?
They should be allowed because parades have a way of bringing in people together around the leader, supposedly. And of course, what you want to prevent is the unintended consequences of violence whenever there are parades. But I think that could be managed by political parties.
Make me tap on there. So he say they ask them, but they say, well, they don't ban political rallies, them political parade right now. What do you feel about that? Now he say no. He say they're not for ban the parade. He say because parade gets something way they do. Political rally gets something way they do. He say political rally, the thing way they do. He say they bring the people them. The person in supporters and people them closer together. Say they bring them, they bind them together, they cement them together. They make them rub body they a year together. He say, but he say he understand say back parade get some unintended consequences. They make we continue for listening.
Do you think those parades should be allowed or banned?
They should be allowed because parades have a way of bringing in people together around the leader, supposedly. And of course, what you want to prevent is the unintended consequences of violence whenever there are parades. But I think that could be managed by political parties.
So finally, I have to ask you this as a politician, because we see this carbon...
Look, we stop one. He say two things he said. Parade has a way of, parade gets one kind of way where they bring people in together, it bring people them for galvanize around the political leader, for team up bien, for battle the political leader. I agree with that. But then he go on for say, acknowledge say parade also get unintended consequences. We mean for say some bad thing that can happen as well during parade. He say and then thing and they na fights kin broke down ala kinde. He say but he say in belief say we can left down there to the political parties them for solve. That's where I disagree with him. I think say this was an opportunity for him to say, yes, parade king, kuskas, boss bass, they happen all side. Even in America self, during political rally and boss bass they happen. So boss bass not new to political rally. Bombo so not new to political rally. All sign at the wall it happen. But I feel say Dr. Samura Kamara missed an opportunity here to also say This can be sought out by the political parties having an agreement by the political parties, ensuring say them put safeguards in place for ensure say their supporters they not go away, their supporters they not go loose, but in coordination and in collaboration, in agreement with the police, because the police is there to guard lives and property. So for me, knowing everything, knowing the climate na Salone, knowing how things can easily get out of hand na Salone, yes, but yes, you are right, political parties, because they know them people then and this then that, but the political parties, they not get the full capacity for control them people them. We've seen it time and time again. And not to Salone no more. Excuse me. It happen all side. But this is where a trained police force comes in. If the political party work in collaboration with the police, then get one word, they engage, then they put clear policies, clear guidelines then. That okay, the police can match alongside. When the last election at Ghana, and I not see when they get police, the police was marching alongside the crowd for make sure say no kata no happen. So this is where you have to work with institutions like the police. You cannot do it all by yourself. So for me, Dande was a missed opportunity to ensure that you also bring in the expertise of law enforcement and work with them. Make we continue.
This of violence whenever there are parades. But I think that could be managed by political parties.
So finally, I have to ask you this as a politician, because we see this carbon copied right throughout Africa. It's an old saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Politicians come into office with good intentions and invariably and unfortunately end up on the wrong side of the people. How will you differ from all the African politicians that we've seen with good rhetoric, good promises, yet failures with corruption, riddled with bad governance? How will you, Samura Kamara, be any different from that lot?
I have all of that at the back of my mind. And I'm coming into the presidency of Sierra Leone with a different perspective, a different narrative in terms of leadership. My leadership is a leadership that will take 2023 as a landmark, as a new beginning for a new Sierra Leone. Because I want to draw from experiences in development and other aspects of nationhood since independence. And then from there, you look at what has happened over the last 5 years in particular. Now, you come in at a time when you've had...
So the interviewer asked and say, he said African leaders, politicians, then get this habit of, then they promise, then go promise where they're not in a power, then go promise, stay yourself go feel say God go can kiss your face. He said, but when they take power, he said then get this way of turning against the people then. Turning against everything where they don't promise. And then can sit down like our God big guy Ojukokoro Jifanji sit down now inside the corruption, inside the thief business. Instead they can sit down and thief the people and say blood side they come on at the people and yeah, they not be seen and still the thief. Then go thief, where the blood don't begin come out, the blood don't begin plenty, then they can't jog the body I come on and do say thing away they see now that make blood they come on. Now I just make it be everlasting pool. He say nine Dr. Kamara'S he say me own presidents are go be different. He say for him, he not say for anybody, he say but for him, he say 2023 2023, him believe say go be a landmark na Salone. He say him believe say na that day, na that year day, na him thing there get for change, e get for be say when you go na the history book. If him win, you go na the history book, you look year 2023, you dey say thing been change, thing begin change. He say in hope say 2023 go be new beginning. He say in hope say 2023 go be the 10 way in the move Salone. He say so now they ask and say how you get for move this Salone. He say the way he say not of us say the corruption, the backwardness, the overzealous, the boku promise the way politician can promise and they not deliver and then turn for be turn so canker worm na the people and back. He say make I tell you something. He say I don't dey think but all them things so. He said them things so not new to me at all. He say I don't dey think but I don't dey ponder upon them. He say but for me, he say I get for look at the country, outside the country been day at independence. He said then I get for look at all of the different stages where the country don't go through. He said then I get for compare am to the last 5 years outside the country dey now. He say and plus when I don't sit down, I don't look at all them one them day. I get for sit down inside myself, look at myself and say, with all the work where I don't work inside these 40 years, all the experience then where I don't get that, how I go can begin now for apply am to me country in different situations then, in different scenarios then, for make we move the country go before. Make we continue for listening.
You've had stalled development progress in Sierra Leone. So it's about time to ask yourself, why is that so? What are the binding constraints? Why haven't we grown sustainably? And that has been our main problem. We have not grown sustainably. We are not developed in a manner in which you can gauge that the country is avoiding shocks, this sort of thing. And more particularly over the last 5 years, it's a new trajectory where you have a quasi, if I can describe it that way, a quasi-military type of regime, a civilian coach in a military leader, where you have more or less something like a police state, as I can put it.
And I hear those things, but I've surprisingly haven't heard you talk about what measures you would implement, for example, to stamp out corruption. For example, let me ask you straight up.
Ask me now.
Will you, for example, allow yourself and your ministers to have an asset declaration device put in place where you'd show everything, bank statements, how much you're worth, what houses you own, what cars you own?
So the interviewer say, okay, I don't hear what you don't say. He said you don't talk about development, you don't talk about this, you don't talk about that, you don't talk about all them fine tears. So he said, but one thing where I know you talk about, you not talk about how you get for make sure say corruption, a rigorous, sober, tight policy. Policy, I will call policy na Creole paper. Tight paper dey where we go put, where we go dey use for make sure say corruption no rampant so like how we rampant so. Where we go make sure say the country work for the people and people are not go they can no more they can make haun kapu. So make we listen to the answer. He say, make we listen to your answer.
A civilian coach in a military leader, where you have more or less something like a police state, as I can put it.
And I hear those things, but I've surprisingly haven't heard you talk about what measures you would implement, for example, to stamp out corruption. For example, let me ask you straight up.
Ask me now.
Will you, for example, allow yourself and your ministers to have an asset declaration device put in place where you'd show everything, bank statements, how much you're worth, what houses you own, what cars you own, how much money you have in your bank account before you come into office, and so people can compare that to when you leave? Because that is one good way of helping stop and stamp out corruption.
Let me at the outset say that yes, I will subject myself.
And your minister.
So the interviewer say, if you win power, you they tell you go assure we say you minister them all. Anybody where you employ, una go publicly make sure say the people of Salone and the whole world see una declaration of asset. Una go declare all thing wanna get the change bed them all, the change mattress them all, the change coats them all, the bensus them all, the calabash them all thing unu motokoa unu host them unu all thing we suppose for day na that list they want for declare as this na him call me Dr. Samura Kamara na this one, or this na him call me Matilda na this one, and then thing so I get. He say you go do that, make we so that corruption no go there again. Okay, we go finish. Make we listen to this caller where they call, and then we go listen to waiting how Dr. Samura Kamara answer the question. Caller, waiting are your name and also you they call from. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Okay, we lost the caller. So make we listen to waiting Dr. Samura Kamara say.
To have an asset declaration device put in place where you show everything, bank statements, how much you're worth, what houses you own, what cars you own, how much money you have in your bank account before you come into office, and so people can compare that to when you leave, because that is one good way of helping stop and stamp out corruption.
Let me at the outset say that yes, I will subject myself
and your ministers
to that, and my ministers, all administrators. But over the years, I've subjected myself to asset declaration whilst I was in public office. But my view about corruption goes beyond asset declaration. First and foremost, you have to have strong political will to be punished as a leader if you are found to be corrupt, or your ministers to be punished if they are found to be corrupt.
He say yes, he no get any problem for subject himself to asset declaration. He say as a matter of fact, he say in one whole cabinet, everybody go be subjected to asset declaration. Waiting, he been for don't add like I say, open asset declaration. And Dr. Samura Kamara sir, and also you people when they watch this program, and no for say therefore reach you, make I rephrase this question. And if you so will it, you can come answer the question yourself, or you can send us a written answer. If you become the next president of Sierra Leone, declared after the June 24th elections 2023, would you and your cabinet, elected or nominated, subject yourself to an open asset declaration, meaning that the nation would have access to see what is declared before you come into office, during your term of office, and after you leave office? That is the question to you, sir. Make we continue.
As I was in public office. But my view about corruption goes beyond asset declaration. First and foremost, you have to have strong political will to be punished as a leader if you are found to be corrupt, or your ministers to be punished if they're found to be corrupt. You must have
So,
a
number
strong
one,
political will
he
to
say,
appoint.
number one, he say, outside of the access declaration for him, you know, say for anybody or but for him, Dr. Samura Kamara. Somebody said they like me nails at the talk, yes. Now been for the independence, so now put her so. I know you all think I'm not patriotic, but trust me, I love my nation. Nasi, I mean, Nasi. Yeah. So he say not say for anybody or but for in Dr. Samura Kamara. He say in strongly believe say corruption goes beyond asset declaration. He say number one, he say stomping out corruption means say you forget strong political will for punish people them that are found wanting of corruption within your government, be it a serving minister or an MDA. He say you forget the political will for make sure say they when found wanting they are punished, not tap on the risk and then after 3 months 6 them you bring them back and you put them at the same position or different position. Make we continue for listen. What is say number two? Number
Have
two,
a
which is
strong political will to appoint people of good reputation to man the anti-corruption commission, for instance. You must also agree that anti-corruption commission must not be politicized to answer to your beck and call as a leader. I think if we do that,
number
starting from the
two.
leader, I
He
think you will be.
say number one, it says strong political will for punish anybody found wanting, even within you administration. Number two, it say the office of the anti-corruption commissioner must not be politicized. It say the person where they put there, not for they serve to your wills and caprices, to your demand, to your beck and call. Waiting again else you say, sir, because we get for hold them what they are so and keep them, and we get for remind you of them if you become the next president.
Be setting the right pathways.
And that was Dr. Samura Kamara, the main opposition presidential candidate in Sierra Leone. And we are.
Okay. He said when you get them two things there, so one, you as the president, you as the head, having the political will, having the kahunas, right? Where somebody inside your administration, he do bad, like Kamara'S, and we can keep on naming. You know, they go tap them at the risk, like the former the financial minister, all like we can start listening. You know, they go tap them at the risk, and then you go bio baby. You they discipline them. Then they feel the full force of the law. They're not the case, not they bend the anti-commissioner, not they bend the case and make and so and come with one new court and one new thing, why make the case not will go forward and then they wait for this and that. It's not there for serve you, they for serve the nation. Then he said two. He said when you do then two things there, he said then you open the space, you create the atmosphere for ensure say corruption not breathe and thrive, but for country for breathe and grow. Now so the interview tap. Well, I don't know how una see am. For me, I don't tell una, but waiting me feel saying I've been the missed opportunities them. Inside this interview, I feel say Dr. Samura been for don't tackle and for don't focus. And I also don't tell una waiting he talk and how we answer. I think say throughout this analysis, I don't tell una about the depth of the man, the veracity of the man, waiting make the man robust. Waiting make I believe say he can be one of the waterside stone named na Salone. Yeah? That even though his sidon may not dey move, but usaide, it can make things happen. When you're not in at the helm and you don't have control over everything, it is hard to make decisions. It is hard to make change. The only change you are in control of is the change within your circle, within your space. The only contribution sometimes you can make is the contribution within your circle, within your space. Like I say, we go get for listen to the BBC video interview and hear how that interview they go. And I think it is also worthy for also make we go to the Umaru Fofana interview on the day of the nomination of President Bio for listen to wetin himself been get for say at the time, because as of right now, that is the only comparison we have, true comparison we have of the two leaders, the two top leaders vying for the offices. How they approach things, how they reason out things, and how they explain them. Because if that dialogue been don't happen, na Malbo house, sometimes will be forget more for say. But for me, I go say, if you have the time, go to the Chatham lecture and dialogue. I think Dande will give you an opportunity for really get for understand the way how Dr. Samura Kamara they think, the way he is level about things, the way he rationalize certain things, the way he arrives at decisions. I think Dande go give us some insight. For today, I don't say waiting I get for say. What date? Whose date have been given now? Make I look the date. The 27. The 27. From the 27 right up until the election, we go Badem Saturday afternoon. Go the Badem Saturday afternoon. Because what would have happened is that very week we would have officially entered election campaign officially. So I think it's suitable and appropriate, excuse me, that we sit down in Badem on Saturday afternoons and see how they go. Beside the breeze they blow, and if the breeze they blow at all. If there is some shaking or some movement, or if there is no shaking or no movement. And remember when I say shaking, right now I go feel to say I'm talking about a shaking of the current regime. No, breeze they blow all side. So wherever there is a shaking or a movement, we will be here to discuss it. We'll be here to talk about it. We'll be here to provide solutions. We will look at the issues. And we'll see what the children of Mama Salone decide on that set day. Until then, we fumble them. I wish you know well. I wish you know health. I wish you know long life. I wish you know well body. And anything where we defend at this world, may God put in and may God put in blessing. May God bless we all who say we day. And for the land that we love, we'll never stop. We'll keep the fire burning, regardless of who, regardless of where, because guess what? We will always stand in our truth. Because when it's all said and done, only the truth will remain. Onotata.
But I don't offense. tell all me people them say I go vote, but I don't go vet. I go vote, but tell all the body them say he go vote, but he don't go vet. He go vote, hope for the youth we they say he go vote, but you don't go vet. He go vote.
I want make we know say Salone now we home, and there is no place like home. We fall over to the bone, we for respect and more. Now we motherland, we for respect and more.
Yeah, the mic is on.
Salone now we home.
Straight to the point, this a message to the nation. And please beg you now, but give me attention. It's all about election. This time around, you got to be